So I found out about Andrew back when I was in high school. Kind of got bored in class one day, started searching up shoot interviews and all that stuff. And his Go Pro Wrestling channel came up. It was actually the biggest platform out there. So naturally, I watched a lot of his work growing up. And then when I got on the Facebook and I got into the memorabilia collection thing, I seen his auctions and all the stuff he had. He had some crazy stuff. And I hope he shows it all when he gets in here, because he has put some crazy pieces of that I thought nobody would sell, and he has them. So.
What's up? What's up, Sam? What's up, Jeremiah? Are we on?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, guys. But before I even get to that, I just want to give credit. My guys, Mike, O'Neill, Frank, and they got a great crew of guys. Like, they're the guys that go out there and like really bust their behinds. They go to every show. It started. Go Pro Wrestling began with myself, Mike, Sesko, and O'Neill. It was the three of us, and then it turned into Frank, who does our social media. We also have Brittany, beautiful beautiful woman on the inside and out. I can tell you a great story of her and Braun Strowman later. But just a great crew of guys that during COVID I wasn't able to go to the shows, and I had a daughter and all these other things. But they're the ones that are the engine and the force behind the production of Go Pro Wrestling. I do the auction side. All the other things like that. But pretty much they run the production. So I just wanted to say that to give them, I appreciate all the accolades. I just don't want to take the credit. Like I'm the owner, but they have done really a lot for Go Pro Wrestling. They're the heart, So. Wow. I started watching wrestling. I was watching with my father, but my first memories where I actually remember, Tito Santana, Greg Valentine on Superstars, and Arriba. And the funny joke, I used to tease Tito every time I see him. I go, "Can you give me an Arriba?" He's like, oh, "Okay, Arriba." He's a great sport. He was actually Tito was actually my first virtual signing during COVID for my virtual signing. He was one of my. He was actually first into my house. Great guy. I gave him a big chocolate bar for when I just went to Hershey Park, and it was like the world's largest chocolate bar. He had left my house. I said, "Can you come back, circle back?" He goes, "Why? What's up?" I said, "I have something I want to give you." So I have given this. He was like, "Oh my God, brother, look at this big chocolate bar." I think he still has it. But he's a gentleman, Tito. I love Tito. But yeah. My first memory watching Tito, when he had his leg broken, I thought I cried. I thought he was he really got hurt. And my father used to never break kayfabe with me. If this was today's era, they would call child abuse on him. The people of this generation today wouldn't be able to handle, oh my goodness, like when I was watching it was a Saturday Night's Main Event, and Andre was choking Hogan. And Vince McMahon's like, "Look at the look on Hogan, look on Andre's face." And Jesse Ventura's cheering on Andre to choke him. And I kept crying, no, why is he doing this? No, let him go. And Hogan is trying to gasp for air. He's selling so well. And my dad's like, "Don't worry." Yeah. Yeah. And my father kept saying, "Don't worry. He'll get up. Don't worry." He didn't tell me, "Oh, it's a show. Don't cry." No, he let me cry. He's like, "You know what? This is, you want to suspend disbelief." They would have loved him if he was in WWE. Forget, he didn't want to break kayfabe at all. But the same back to Tito. That was my first memories watching Tito, that Intercontinental title, and when he got the belt back, and then I vividly remembered, and he really did get hurt when Jake the Snake DDT'd Ricky Steamboat on Saturday Night's Main Event. You remember that?
Oh yeah, dude. He really broke his nose.
Broke his nose, yeah. And I said, "Oh my!"
I cried too.
Yeah, but because that was my first memories, and you're a kid, you're thinking, "Man, this is real. Oh my God, they really do get hurt." So it kind of put a shadow over everything else, like a big blur of "Oh, this is real."
Because I miss kayfabe. I miss kayfabe.
Yeah,
I miss it sometimes.
Yeah, I miss it. Yeah. The magic is gone. Like Bobby Heenan said, the magic is gone.
The magic's gone. Yeah. So who would you pinpoint as your favorite wrestler of all time?
Of all time?
All time, baby. I'm Hulkmania, baby. I don't care.
Hulk Hogan.
45. Hulk. Oh! Hey, give me a too sweet, baby. Give me a too sweet, baby.
Hulk Hogan. First time I met him, and I was doing a private signing with him in Secaucus, New Jersey, in 2009.
Man.
He was right in my backyard, a few minutes from my house, and I was in his agent's hotel room, and then Hulk came in the room, and I said, "Oh my God!" The first time I ever I was really starstruck by his presence and just by his charisma, and you could see it. He had the bandana on, he had the black shirt on. It looked like he was coming out backstage like in the NWO days on Nitro.
Yeah.
And he was really nice. He shook my hand, and his hand was like, even though his hand was really like strong,
bigger than you.
He really shook my hand like very gingerly. He didn't like try to break my hand, pretty much. But he's a really like intimidating presence, but he's so kind. Like I really liked him as a person. I'm not just like I got to like that because we actually were negotiating to do a shoot interview. That was going to be my first shoot interview.
Right.
And it just didn't work out. Like he had things going on. There was the timing wasn't right. And then a year later, that's when he went to TNA. I actually still have the original draft of those contracts that we were going to do a shoot interview. And I still have all the questions. It was going to be an 8-hour shoot, 4-disc DVD set. We were going to make it a whole, but it was a great dream. I wanted to really, when I wanted to do the shoot interviews, my goal was to strike with somebody big, and who bigger than him? Especially go after people, superstars that have never done shoot interviews.
Right.
That's why even though I couldn't get him, the first interview that I was successful getting was with Nelson Frazier, Big Daddy V, who was Viscera, King Mabel.
Yeah. Right.
And I still have his robe. I don't even collect ring-worn stuff, but I have his actual The Love Machine robe, and I'll show it to you guys later on.
That's a big fucking robe.
I have it in the closet. Yeah, it's something I would never sell. Yeah, it's huge. It could go down to below my knees when I put it. I actually put it on one time. This is ridiculous. I said, I have to put it on once.
Dude, see, I knew me and you, we link up because I'm a Hulkamania for life.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I was born and raised in Chicago. So Mr. T was born and raised in Chicago, and he was a big Chicago icon. So when him and Hulkamania linked up, it was the best of both worlds for me because I was a young kid. I knew about Mr. T before even wrestling, He was just a big name in Chicago. And then he hooked up with Hulkamania, and man, the A-Team, it was running wild. It was crazy. And, I don't know if you remember, but I think it was a Saturday night main event where Cowboy Bob Orton and Roddy Piper, they're boxing. No. They tied Mr. T to the bottom ropes, and they started whooping him with the belt. Just whooping him. Like, dude, you cannot do that on today's television. That was a little racial. That was a little.
That they were saying back then. Like, you could never even remotely say those things.
No, yeah.
There's vignettes where he's calling him boy and all these other things, and or racial overtones and insinuations. It was, oh my goodness, it was a different time for sure.
It was awesome. Now, let's fast forward a little bit. You're a little kid. You like Hulkamania. You're running wild with me. Did you used to put your socks over your pants like I used to do?
I used to cut my. I used to wear like the little white wife beaters, and I would just get a piece of scissors before I watched. We'd order WrestleMania. I made sure cut a piece of scissors right at the top. So I have a little piece here, like, I got to work it,
Right.
So like when Hogan came out, I made sure I got to rip. When he ripped the shirt, I ripped the shirt.
Right. That was.
I used to rip all the shirts of my dad. Like, you're ripping another shirt. My mom would lose her mind because I would rip the shirt, and they would just keep buying wife beaters, like the Fruit of the Looms, like regular under. I just keep ripping them.
Now, how old were you when you attended your first live wrestling event?
I was 6. And I'm actually, it's a great question, Sam, because it's funny you asked, because I was actually looking for the ticket stub, the lineup sheet, a poster, something of that show. And I have a custom of that first poster. I'll show it to you. That's the first show.
Oh, you got some crazy stuff, man.
We're being blessed here. We're being blessed here, guys. A lot of wrestling history with Andrew Khella, 20 years in the business. Look at
Look at
this.
that.
Look at this. How much you want for
This is
that?
the first show that I attended as a kid. This was in Asbury Park. This is a custom that a great designer made. His name is Shah. He's a really good guy. He's a graphic designer for us too. He designed this for me just as a custom, just to try to make it look like the old school version. I'm looking for the original poster. I contacted the Asbury Park press. I checked the library. I put ads in the newspaper.
You know who you need to contact? Jim Cornette.
Yeah, I thought about that.
I need to contact it because my
wife,
wife's grandfather is actually a former pro wrestler, and he wrestled against Angelo Poffo, Macho Man's dad.
Yeah.
And he wrestled against Dick the Bruiser, Andre the Giant. He knows Vern Gagne. So, but I can only find like 2 or 3 videos on YouTube of his matches. But I know Jim Cornette has the biggest library of posters, cards.
It's a great idea, actually.
Yeah, and I've been dragging my feet to.
The thing is, he wasn't in WWE till '93, and I know NWA and WCW stuff, Mid-South stuff, Smoky Mountain. He probably has everything.
He has it all. I've seen a video.
He keeps a record of everything. I've seen his videos in his collection. It's
in his attic, he has everything. I know he has something on my girl's grandfather there.
No, that's the funny thing is about this show is it was in May 26, 1987. That actually was the same day that Duggan and the Sheik were popped on the New Jersey Turnpike or the Parkway. They were busted with the cocaine. That was the same show. They went to this show. They wrestled in the tag match. They were against each other. It was Nikolai and the Sheik against Duggan and Ken Patera. And after the show, because they didn't know about it, the next morning the news hit and it spread like wildfire. Then Vince fired Sheik and Duggan when it made national headlines.
Right, because they got caught.
It's funny that that's the show that happened. The thing is, if looking it up on the internet, that's how I found out that was the same show. I only remembered Butch Reed wrestling Tito Santana, Slick interfering. I remember Bam Bam Bigelow being a hometown guy. He was like in the opening match, and I just I got like little memories here and there of it. My parents owned a restaurant in the Asbury Park, so wrestlers would come in and frequent, like because we were right there on the boardwalk. That's how we went to that show in Asbury Park, because we had the restaurant right there. So my father got tickets for it, and that was actually the first show I went to. I was in kindergarten when we went to that show, and it was on a Tuesday. I remember him letting me out of school
on a Tuesday.
He picked me up early.
Wow,
we went to. I remember.
Parents, Andrew.
It was a Tuesday. It was a Tuesday, and I'll never forget it. And I would pay anything just to find the original lineup sheet, the poster. If there is a ticket stub, I'm just looking for some memento from that show. That's the first show that I actually went to in person. I was with my father, and my mother went there, my brother and my sister. We all went together as a family. So it's a special show that I really want to get something out of and keep in the.
I've been looking on YouTube for the first show that I've been to in San Diego Sports Arena. It was a Monday Night Raw, I believe, and I can't find it. I used to work for the San Diego Sports Arena. I was the head custodian. I had like 13 women under me, and we used to go at 10 o'clock at night when the events were over and clean up all the popcorn and all that in the stadium. But that day, my boss let me go sit in the owner's box to see wrestling because he knew I was a big wrestling fan. I can't find it. I'm trying to find it.
If you could tell me, Sam, later what the date of that show was, I have albums filled of lineup sheets, ticket stubs from different events.
Wow.
But I have lineup sheets and ticket stubs for other shows, but not for the show that I want. Isn't that how it works? But I'll find shows for so many other, like, there was one guy that was like in tears, and he says, "I'll give you $300." I said, "Bro, the lineup sheet cost me $50. Just PayPal me $75. I made $25 for myself. I'll ship it to you." He was so happy.
You're a good
guy. It's karma, because like if and then now he told me he goes, "If I find this thing, I'll contact." I said, "No problem, man. I'm glad I can help." And it was like some show in Buffalo, random show. He said, he put an ad. "Do you happen to have this show?" And when I looked through it, I said, "Oh my God, I have it." I took a picture, sent it to him, and my messenger blew up. He's like, "My God, that's it. That's the show. That's the show." I said, "Just PayPal me $75." I could have taken advantage of it, but I don't want to do that. It's not the.
Andrew,
it's bad.
I'm in Florida. Where are you at?
In New Jersey.
Next
I'm
time
in North Jersey, right outside of Giant
Next
Stadium.
time I'm in New Jersey, I'm gonna go hit you up. I wish I
Let's
knew
do
you.
it.
I wish I knew you when on New York WrestleMania was about 2 or 3
that was
years ago.
that was right before. That was right the year before
Right
COVID,
before
I believe.
COVID.
Right?
Yeah, I would have went to
When
go see
Kofi won the title.
Listen,
Yeah.
I could hog up all of your time, but the man right
No,
in front of you, he's got some questions for you. I'm gonna give him
sure.
some time. That's
Shoot, Jeremiah.
your biggest
That's
fan
fine.
right there. So we're gonna pass it over to Jeremiah. Jeremiah got some questions.
Thanks,
For you.
Jeremiah.
I'm gonna shut up.
I have one question.
He
So
got more than one. He's just
you-
being humble.
okay. But the normal question I want to ask is that we collect a lot of wrestling memorabilia, a lot of it. But outside of that, what is your most prized piece that's not wrestling related?
That's not wrestling related.
Yeah.
Now, do you collect? Before you answer, do you collect other sports memorabilia?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I have a Tim Duncan game used jersey because I'm a big San Antonio Spurs fan.
Sorry,
I have a game used. Yeah, I'm a game used. I have a game used. Huh?
Yeah.
You're who's a Spurs fan?
I'm a Bulls.
Oh, you're Bulls fan? Oh, I like Bulls.
I'm a
I like
LeBron
the documentary that they put out with the
Don't
Jordan.
Listen to this guy about his LeBron shit. Just ignore him.
Oh man, LeBron. Let me tell you, I was at the draft when he was drafted. I remember when the white suit. I was there in person.
Wow.
Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh was like probably one of the best rookie classes. You know, beside the '97 class was special, the '84 class was special.
Yeah.
But if you're going by memorabilia other than wrestling, that's probably my favorite piece. I have a ball signed by the entire Spurs team that I got myself. Like, because when the Spurs used to come, and we'd have one game here in New Jersey when they would come. So I would go to that game and I would sit right in the front. I would wear all my Spurs stuff. I would have a ball, like a Spurs ball, and every single one of them signed it.
That's awesome.
Everybody. So I still have that ball.
You always been
the game used jersey
fan?
I'm sorry?
You always been a San Antonio fan?
Yes, since '95, and that's because before Tim Duncan was even drafted, when we weren't even that good, and we had all those funky colors and the Spurs logo, the teal, and David Robinson waved to me. So I left an impression on me. I was in 6th grade. We was the DARE program. You remember the DARE program when you had free tickets to go to the games with your class?
Yes.
Yeah.
I snuck down. We were in the nosebleeds. I snuck down to wave, and then I yelled, "Go David Robinson!" And I yelled it again, "Go David Robinson!" He turned around and he gave me a wave, and I was like, "Oh my God, he's looking at me and he's waving."
Yeah.
And ever since that, I didn't have a team. I started supporting the Spurs. I started cheering for Avery Johnson and Vinny Del Negro and Sean Elliott, and I started becoming a fan of the Spurs.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then we had Tim Duncan. It was like gold.
Yeah, I'm living the moment right now, brothers.
And shout out to Greg Popovich. He just became
he did.
the winning. He just got the most wins in history
with less games.
Yes.
Yeah,
with
400 less games. 400 less games. That's crazy.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is, man, I'm always happy to interview people on the shoot, but right now, I gotta smile ear to ear because this is some good stuff right here.
Thank you guys.
So a basketball signed by almost the whole team of the Spurs.
Yeah.
Now, what would be your prized possession wrestling memorabilia? Prize possession, number one. Like, I ain't never selling that shit.
The one right here, WrestleMania 5 signed poster, and the Andre the Giant autograph promo that I have. Those are always going to be special. This was the first memorabilia that I actually collected. It took me 8 years to get all the signatures on it. Ultimate Warrior signed it. Roddy Piper signed it. About a dozen or so now deceased wrestlers that are no longer here have signed this poster behind me. And I have a WrestleMania 4 poster signed by a lot, like the same, like almost every single person, and a lot of them, they're not here no more. Warrior signed both of these two a year before he passed.
Wow.
So I was very grateful and thankful that I was able to meet him. I actually just acquired the video. I posted it. There's a video from that signing. Somebody sent it to me. They took the clip from the whole from the whole signing at WrestleCon in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a clip of where he gives me a hug. And he goes, "You need anything else? Let's take a picture together. Let's have a whole video of that. Like it's like a whole 2-minute clip, and it's just it made me like that's another time I was starstruck. He signed my posters, he signed my figures, he signed like just a great. He took his time with everybody, and you hear all the stories. Oh, he's not good with his fans. I don't know how he was a long time ago, but I just know the 2 different times I met him. Both times he had a big smile on his face. He looked at every fan in the eye. He gave them a hug. He made sure that they were happy. You got your phone and they go, "Oh, take a picture. Make sure you like it. You like it?
Right.
Okay." Like he made sure. What color do you want? How much to sign it? But just top notch. Like he was great.
Sami Zayn. I met Sami Zayn in a gas station, and he did the same thing to me. I took the picture, and he looked at the picture. He goes, "No, it's not good enough. Let's find some good light." And he grabbed my phone because he's taller than me. I'm only 5'7", and he grabbed my phone and he took a real good picture of me and Sammy. And my name is Sammy too, so that meant a lot.
Yeah,
yeah, man, dude, man, you got some great stories. You got some great stories. Now, I want to ask you something. With the passing of rest in peace Scott Hall, do you have some NWO memorabilia? You have some Scott Hall memorabilia?
Yes, I do.
What's your best Scott Hall memorabilia?
Well, the best is like he's as Razor Ramon. It's a picture where he's Razor Ramon, and it's an original promo. So the pieces means more because an original promo and it's signed. It's much more than just signing any random photo that is printed. Right. An original promo, for those that don't know, it's like an original WWF, WCW promo that were only produced, given to newspapers and press. So it's like an original, like a headshot, like a Hollywood headshot.
Right.
So a promo like that is like it's vintage means more than if I just printed it and he came to a signing and just signed it.
Right.
So having him sign promos, plus I have the Hasbro still in the package that he signed.
Wow.
Like I have pictures of those as well. Like from the last time I saw him was at WrestleCon in New York City when they were here for WrestleMania weekend in New Jersey, and that was the last time I actually saw him in person. I had opportunities recently to go see him, but I didn't think anything of it. I wish now thinking about it, I should have. I wish I'd went, but we never know when our time is up, and it was just so unexpected and sudden. When the news broke the day before he passed. Yeah. That he's in the hospital from the hip surgery and he got complications. He had heart attacks after and he was on life support. Then that's when it kind of shook the whole wrestling community and the wrestling world. I mean, it's just, and the fans are affected, but really it's his family. He was only like 63 years old. So, and talk about charisma, talk about, that. When I met him in person too, even I would bring up the Rizzotti Sisters. I don't know if you guys remember the Rizzotti Sisters.
Yes.
They used to be the Raw girls. They used to big heavy set women, and they were dressed in sexy lingerie.
They were super fans.
And they were super fans, and they lived in the Brooklyn area. They lived in New York, and so one of the episodes on Raw, he's coming up the steps, and she's coming down, and he goes like, and it's actually the same one where 1, 2, 3 Kid beats him.
Yes,
it's an upset. So
the first one.
If you go back and watch that Raw. Watch when he comes to the ring and just watch if any student of wrestling wants to study in-ring psychology. There is a perfect example. He comes into the ring and his personality, his charisma doesn't begin in the ring just wrestling. And no, it's as soon as he walked through the curtain because he's telling one of those guys, "Oh, give me a kiss right here." She goes to kiss him like that. He goes, "All right, get out of here." Like he throws it to the funny. And it left. I remember that. And I told him that. He goes, a lot of people don't even bring that up. He's like, "You're kind of like, I like that, man. That's cool that you brought that up." Oh, he goes, "The Rizzotti." He goes, "That's the way you got to do it, man." He goes, "It's all up here." And a lot of these guys today, they don't use this. Sometimes you just got to stop and look. And he brought up Rick Rude. He said in an interview, and he said it in front of me and a small group of other people in private at a signing. He goes, "Guys, it's all about, sometimes it's just a matter of just turning and looking. Slow down." Like Vince McMahon used to tell him, "Just slow down." Like, or Rick Rude used to tell him, like, you get a hold of people in the palm of your hands just by your presence, or Mr. Perfect telling him about the toothpick. Take the toothpick and throw it at the camera.
Yeah.
He goes, "You own that camera time when you just have even 10 seconds before you walk to the ring. That's your camera time. Even if you can't speak, you could do something and that became one of his signatures, throwing the toothpick.
And that is when I'm hearing you telling me this, it makes so much sense because Henning had the gum.
The gum.
He spit it out.
You see?
And he spit it out. And not a lot of people remember that. Everything that Henning did, he tried
to the towel.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Because spit the gum out.
Yeah.
When he would do the no-look throw to the towel to Bobby Heenan, and Bobby Heenan would catch it. Perfect. No look.
And what about when Mr. Perfect was doing commentary and he wasn't wrestling no more? He used to do the thing with the pencil. He flipped the pencil.
That's right. Now, I brought up Scott Hall because, listen, we're about 30 minutes into this, and I don't want to leave you go without picking your brain. Like I said before we went live, this is your time. You do as much as you want. But I cannot leave tonight without showing you some of my prize possessions and getting an appraisal from the man who knows what's up.
Let's do it.
So, in honor of Scott Hall, I have here an NWO Wolfpack shirt signed by none other than Scott Hall
and Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash. How much is this, Andrew?
Okay. Just judging by the shirt, there's a little WWE hologram sticker on the shirt.
I keep it in. I only took it out today. I keep it in a Ziploc bag, freshly squeezed.
What saved you? If it was just a shirt alone, it would probably be like about a $50 shirt because this shirt was reproduced by WWE. It wasn't an original that was made in the 90s with WCW.
That's true.
So the tag on the back and also the hologram of the WWE is a giveaway. However, the fact that it's signed by Hall and Nash with inscriptions that says "Too Sweet" on it, I love it.
How much you go for it?
Right now, I mean, and what's funny is like people are going around selling stuff, spiking up. I mean, it's just crazy. But what it would be worth now, or even a month from now, you're looking at about $300 for that sign with both Hall and Nash.
That's good.
Because even if Hall was still alive, that shirt would still be about $150. It'd be like half of that.
But because the fact that
here, there's inscriptions on it, it makes it special. Absolutely.
Now, brother, here is something, brother. Here is something I'm never gonna sell. Never.
Okay.
But I want to know.
Don't ever say never.
Don't ever say like WWE. Don't ever. But I can't because it has my name on it. Here it is. Hulk Rules, a shirt.
Okay.
Train, say your prayers. It says on the back. To Sam, keep training, brother. Hulk Hogan. This one I would never sell. This is my prized possession.
So this, if you were to sell it, I hate to break your heart, it wouldn't be worth much because there's the personalization. Exactly. However, like I always say, value, and what something is worth is in the eyes of a collector. That's right. So that's why I always start my auctions. Usually I start at the bidding at $1, and everybody else, the people will dictate. Collectors will dictate value. Value is not dictated by. There's no set price guide. You know how in baseball cards you used to look. Oh, what's this card worth? Well, it's the demand. What is it worth to you? You know, it's just something that you really want. Like for you, that is a priceless possession. For Jeremiah, he's going to be like, well, my name's not Sam.
Right, it already says Sam.
You know what I mean? Okay. But say your name wasn't on there and he wrote that inscription. That shirt is a couple $100, no doubt. Right. I mean, you love signed shirts, I could tell. Right. Next time, make sure he signs the front. That's a tip. Sign the front.
Sign the front.
To frame it.
Yeah, sign the front.
To frame it, let them sign the front. But the fact that he has the back, say your prayers, take your vitamins on the back. There's writing on the back, captions. Hey, that saved you. If it was a blank shirt,
that's what I wanted because when I met him, brother, I shook his hand 3 times. I gave him 3 hugs. I was starstruck. I'm a martial arts instructor. I own a dojo, so I presented him with an official black belt certificate and a black belt. And Hoaxster tells me, oh, so this means I could chop whoever I want to chop. And I go, brother, you could chop whoever you want to chop all day long. Karate chops all around. I got one more piece for you. And this one, ooh, is so special. It's so special. Now, my birthday's tomorrow. About 3
Happy
years.
birthday.
Thank you. About 3 years ago, when NXT Black and Gold was heavy and full sale, because I live in the Orlando area. I was in the Orlando area. I always go to NXT Black and Gold. And I went the week of my birthday. Mike Rome, every week I would go, I would talk to Mike Rome and get in good with him. And, because I like my Rome, he's a good guy and a good announcer. And I'm happy that he's in the new game. And so during that show that I went to NXT, they said, we're giving away a t-shirt signed by multiple NXT superstars. So we went up to Mike Rowe, hey, it's my birthday, woo woo, between commercials. So when he came out with the t-shirt, he's over here, trying to pump up 4 sides of the ring. Who's loudest? And I'll throw it to you. My wife was like, it's his birthday. Remember we told you, pointing at me. And he looks around. He goes, oh, yeah. Throws it right at her. Some guy grabs it. She grabbed it away from him. I'm going to show you the t-shirt.
Oh, wow.
Multiple signatures. This is NXT Black and Gold t-shirt signed by almost everybody on this shirt. I'm going to read you some of the signs. We have Dakota Kai. We have Aleister Black. We have the whole Insanity. We have No Way Jose. Almost everybody on this t-shirt is not in NXT no more. We have Tucker and Otis before they went to the main.
Good.
Right. Oh, we got Billy Kay, the Iconics, before they were the Iconics.
That's really good.
We got Kyle O'Reilly. We got, oh my God, the Velvet Team Dream. I haven't looked at this in over 2 years. We got, oh my God, we got just so many people. We got Alice
Bianca Blair on it.
We got the Street Profits before they went to the main event.
That's a good one.
We got Lars Sullivan is on here signed.
Oh, Lars Sullivan, that's pretty good, man.
And I can't even tell. I will have to send you a full picture so you could look at all of the autographs. But
yeah, I see it. It's really good, man.
What do you think this is valued in one of Andrew Khelah's auctions? It's over 15.
I'd probably how many, if Bianca Blair signed it as well, that will increase the value as well.
Shayna Baszler.
Bianca Blair. Street Profits on there is good. Having Street Profits is great.
Shayna Baszler's on
there. Baszler is
that's
good.
a rare one. Yes. I got 3 of her autographs. I'm just sitting on.
Adam Cole,
baby, yeah. If you have Bianca Blair on that right there is going to increase it $300 just from her name only.
Exactly.
So whatever the shirt is,
Bianca Blair.
No Bianca Blair. Okay, no, so Bianca I would say we need all those signatures $500-600 right now. Wow. I would say right now. I have a shirt when I was at an NXT show in Asbury Park. Ironically, the same venue, convention hall where I first went as a kid, and it was actually the same night that we formed Go Pro Wrestling. While we were at the show, Mike and O'Neill and I, instead of paying attention to the matches, we were paying attention to the lighting. We were paying attention to the entranceway. We were studying and looking at how we could set up production. And we're looking at, man, you see how they're putting the lights, you see how they're putting this, you see how so it gave us some inspiration, it gave us some insight. And that same night, I actually have Asuka's shirt. She had threw it in the crowd, and I have it. And then I gave it to somebody to get it signed for me, and she signed. I still have that shirt from that night.
Now I have.
It's just funny how life. It's funny how life works, and it gets intertwined. And I just realized it the same venue where I first attended a show with my father as a kid is actually when I went back there. It was the night we formed Go Pro Wrestling. And this was 2016. And the Street Profits wrestled that night.
Yeah.
I forgot what match but they were on that show. The main event had Bobby Roode and Shinsei Nakamura. They were in the main event. It was a tag match. And I forgot who the other was.
I have another shirt here. It's not signed, but it's a little special to me because
you love the shirts, Sam. You love shirts. I'll send you some shirts. I got a whole tons of shirts.
I love you. I love you.
I didn't know you're into shirts like that.
Right here.
Jeremiah. I don't know. Jeremiah, what are you into?
Oh, he's into everything you got.
So my collection, few pieces that I have that I not sit on, probably won't sell. I have a Roddy Piper signed 11 by 14 of him in the bagpipes. Beautiful signature.
Nice.
I just recently got 2 Razor Ramones. Before he passed, I got 2 Razor Ramones.
Hey, man, that's great.
It's him in the WrestleMania ladder match with Shawn Michaels holding up both titles. He signed that, and he inscribed it for the bad guys. I have him with the promo shot of him holding his hands out when he's got the pyro. I have that. But the one thing I probably won't sell is probably my Chris Benoit. I'm a big fan of Chris Benoit. I have his in framed and everything. But one piece that I probably want to ask you about, that I kind of want to get like appraised a little bit, is I have a signed photo of Jimmy Hart, Jim Neidhart, and Bret Hart all in one. It's 8x10. Just want to get your opinions on how much you think that would go for. If I do
about $175, $200, because I actually did all of them, and I have 8x10 signed by the 3 of them in my inventory. So I know that a trio of them, and it's authentic. It's authentic, and I believe it's authentic. Yeah. The 3 of them signed photo, an 8x10, $175 to $200, and if it was an original promo, it's $500, $600, $700.
Yeah, you know?
But I had a poster, the catalog poster, where it had Jim Neidhart. It was like the See No Evil here. One was like this, one was like this, and one was like that.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
You remember that poster?
Yeah, I got that. It was
signed by all 3.
Yeah.
The original owner, he sold it to me, and he ended up buying it back from me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, we picked your brain on our
much later on.
We picked your
brain. You were telling me something, Sam. I'm sorry, Sam. What was the last thing you wanted to ask me?
I have a shirt here, and it's from have you ever heard of the CEO Fighting Game Championships with Bailey? He does a CEO big tournament for fighting championship. And this one, they came to Daytona, and this is a very special shirt. I don't even wear this. It's Bailey and Kenny Omega dressed up as Street Fighter versus X-Men. And you see Bailey there as the Street Fighter, and then you see Kenny Omega as Cyclops. And then there was a wrestling show. Then it has the card on the back of the show. And
what was the date of the show? When Worlds Collide? I think I know that.
When Worlds Collide. That's what it was.
Can I see the tag? What does the tag say? This is important. Is the tag cut or is it still there?
The tag of what?
The actual tag, the back of the tag, like this.
No. It's just this little tag right here.
Oh yeah, but there's still a tag there. And what's the size?
Yes, there's still a tag.
That's good. So make the value more. Usually, if it was like people selling them in the parking lot or it's a counterfeit, they usually won't have a tag because they mass printed them, they bootlegged them. But that's a legit one. I actually like that shirt. It goes, I would say, a couple $100 on that.
Yeah,
even unsigned. That's a great shirt. You don't find that shirt often.
No. I went to the fighting.
What year was that?
This was probably 2000 and let me double check. It's January 29th. I want to say 2019.
2019. All right, so I would say about $150 maybe.
Yeah.
So 200. But give it a 4 years and it's going to be,
Oh yeah. So we got our questions out of the way about our personal stuff. So let's just get back to you. You've met a lot of wrestlers. You met a lot of a lot of people that we look up to into the industry. Who was your favorite guest that you had, that you met, that treated you the nicest, was real cool? And on the flip side, let's dish some shit out. Who was
That's
the
fine.
worst? Who was the fucking worst? Who was the
Brooklyn
worst?
Brawler.
Who?
Brooklyn Brawler was the worst.
Really?
He actually signed this poster. I wish he never signed the poster.
Wow.
I had him sign a poster because he wrestled Red Rooster, but he was not impressed by the poster. I was trying to have a conversation with him, and that was the first time I met him. And I thought, okay, maybe he's having a bad day. Then again, it happened like when I interviewed him. If you go on my YouTube channel, it's titled "Brooklyn Brawler Gives Horrible Interview." All he wanted to do All he wanted to do was get paid. All he wanted to do was bust my chops. He had just did Jericho's podcast, and I was trying to put him over and get an interview going, maybe. And he goes, "Yeah, I have a book coming out." He doesn't even have a book coming out, but he didn't want to give me anything. He didn't want to even talk. It's like I'd rather if he just politely said, "I'm not interested in an interview, thank you." But he gave me an interview, and it was like, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe this.
That's terrible.
And the other one, like there was another one I would say.
Another bad one or the best one?
A bad one. I've had some bad interactions. Like Rick Steiner wanting to rip my head off, like things like that. Like I wanted to do.
Wait, hold on. Pause. Time out. I need to hear.
But I like Rick and Scott. I love the Steiners. I'm big fans of them.
Why did Rick wanted to rip your head off?
It's just he was really rude about. Like I tried to do an interview with him, and he goes, "No, f that." I was just like, "Okay, it's fine." I had Mike, and O'Neill. They were doing the camera. They were doing the production behind the scenes, and we were at the convention. And the promoter, everybody knows me. He said I can, as long as I'm not interrupting them as they're signing or there's a line, I can go up to everybody and ask. Jerry Lawler did an interview with me. Cody Rhodes did an interview. DDP. I had so many interviews, but he didn't want to do it. Joey Mercury, I have respect for, even though he told me no, I don't want to do an interview. He said no politely, and I respect that. Saying no doesn't bother me. It's the way you come off, and you don't need to be profane and make somebody feel bad, especially if they're a fan of yours. It didn't change my impression of him. Maybe a little bit at the time. I was kind of upset by it. I was kind of hurt. I won't be lying, but I'm still fans of the Steiners. I still have their autographs. But what's funny is that Scott was actually cool, because I saw Scott Steiner 2 other times, and he was fantastic. He was cool as hell. He was ripping on Triple H, and we were talking. I bought his ring worn at a live auction, and I paid like $400 for it. I underpaid for it, and then somebody had the picture, and they really wanted it, so I ended up selling his ring worn, the one that said 69 on it, and it was in red. It was from Wolfpack.
Wow.
It was NWO from WCW. His trunks when he was Big Papa Pump, but he was cool. And it's funny how the reverse is. People tell me, "Oh, Scott is the one that's really bad," but Rick is. But I never had a problem with Scott Steiner.
Wow.
But I'd say Rick Steiner and Brooklyn Brawler for sure. But
I was going through Atlanta, Georgia, one time at 5 a.m. I was switching planes, and I walked by the little monorail thing, and I see this big fucking dude. Bam! And he's standing there waiting to get on the little monorail to go to the terminal. And I walk by him, and I see the white hair and the white beard and the sunglasses, and it's 5 a.m. Nobody wants to be a fucking approached at 5 a.m. You know what I'm saying? And I walk right past him, and I look at him, and I'm like, oh shit, that's Big Papa Pump. And I'm like, I gotta say something, because if not, I would never fucking forgive myself. So I turn around, and because he's a little intimidating, I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I'm 130 pounds, wet and wearing boots. You know what I'm saying? This guy's fucking 3 of me.
Yeah.
And so I walk up to him and I go, "Excuse me, I just want you to know that I know who you are, and I'm a big fan of your work." And he shakes my hand and he says, "Thank you." And I left him alone, and I went to my flight. And that's how you got to do it. That's how you got to do it. They're people like, like everybody else, and they don't want to be bothered, especially at 5 a.m. But
I was at the airport. It was something similar like that. I didn't ask for a picture or get an autograph, but I'm on an escalator. I had just dropped my uncle. My dad, I was so happy that my dad sent me inside to drop off my uncle, his brother, back inside the terminal. And I went as far as I could where the security is. You have to show them your passport. So I left him there. I'm going down the escalator to go back outside. As I'm coming down the escalator, I do a turn. I do a double. And who's coming down the escalator? It's Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, and The Big Show behind them. And when I turn to look, I go like this. My mouth is open, and Shawn Michaels does this. I go to the eyebrows. I can mess around. Like in character, cool as hell. I got down the escalator. I said, "Oh, please, I'm a big fan of your guys." And then Chris Jericho's making fun of me. I'm going like this to him. I'm pointing like, "Oh my God, you're Chris Jericho." He looks at me. He goes, like he's pointing back at me, like he's mocking me. But it was just so fun. Like,
yeah.
And I saw Big Show outside. He was smoking a cigarette. I didn't bother him. I just said, "Hey, man, I just wanted to say I'm a big fan of you guys. Thank you." And then I shook his hand and I let him go. I didn't say. Sometimes you have to pick and choose.
Yes.
I wasn't ready. Or anything. It's not like I could have pulled out my phone, but it was like, is that the right time to do it? It wasn't like it wasn't how do you say? It wasn't an appropriate time, and it wasn't unexpected. It wasn't like they were doing a signing, and right, Jeremiah, you know what I'm saying? It's like to go there and to ask for, but if in the moment, it's like if I knew that they were coming and this and that. But that's the other thing. Wrestlers don't like being bothered in their or they're traveling. What a setting.
What are your thoughts on people that show up at the airport, show up at the hotel, and just show up?
Yeah, like people that
on those people that show up at the hotel. Go ahead, speak, Jeremiah.
I think the airports are a little bit. It's kind of out of line. I think the airport. I mean, you got to understand. Us as regular guy, when we're traveling, you don't feel well. You're tired. You just you have that air in your ears from the flight, and you're trying to pop it. You just don't feel well. You're picking up your bags. You want to go find your hotel, take a shower, and go. Don't forget, these guys. They gotta go. Go to the hotel, get a rental car, find the arena, go wrestle, go take a. It's like a whole. So you're stopping them when they just got a flight. You don't know what kind of mood they're in. They're probably tired. They're probably all kinds. You don't know. They're people just like us. Hotels. I don't mind. When we were at StarCast, I didn't really mark out at anybody until I Kobayashi. Because he's in Japan all the time. You don't see him here. He's like the Hulk Hogan over there.
That's a markup.
When he came here, I'll send you the picture. When he came here, it was like, wow. And I was working the event. I was helping out Conrad and the crew at StarCast.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be like one of those guys that goes around asking, but I was like, man, I got to take a picture with him. Like I was helping with the lines, but I took the opportunity and say, hey, Frank, like one of the guys in GoPro Wrestling was like, just snap a picture for me with Kenta Kobayashi. He let me put the belt on my shoulder. I took a picture with him. And like I see him downstairs later, he was like when I was walking by, he was in the casino playing. He was winning. I think he was playing Baccarat, whatever he was playing, but he didn't know any English. He had a translator with him. I think his sister was there. He was the sweetest, nicest guy. And I saw him live one time, and it was Match of the Year of 2005 by Wrestling Observer, and everybody called it Match of the Year. Him and Samoa Joe at the New Yorker Hotel, and I was there. I was sitting in the front row. I still have the ticket stub. I watched him and Samoa Joe tear each other apart. Like you want to talk about chops, like you were talking about Hulk Hogan. They were chopping each other down like you wouldn't believe, guys. Yeah. And I had the DVD of that. There was no commentary. They did not put commentary on that match, just so you could feel the electricity. You could feel the crowd. You wanted to hear them go at it. Like you could hear the poof, like the sound of their bodies crushing.
Right.
That's the same. And I also CM Punk, like he was just about to go to WWE, and he was champion. He was doing his whole heel run before he left, and he wrestled Jamie Noble. Claudio Castagnoli, who ended up being Cesaro now. He was the opening match. Yeah. From that, I think that was one of the best Ring of Honor shows I ever attended in person, because we were attending a lot of Ring of Honor shows, my brother and I, for a while. Yeah. We were sitting in the front. I knew the people. Like they used to give me the tickets before they would go on sale for the next show. And he's like, "Hey, buddy, give me a whole stack with all the rubber bands. Just pick whatever you like." Because they knew I always came to the shows and I paid, and I was a big fan. So I'm like, all right, which one? The section C is by the aisle and it's the front. Okay, I want C 4 and 5 and it's on the aisle. So every show, if you go back and watch Ring of Honor from 2005, end of 04 to about 2007, you'll see me in the front row with my brother. Mm-hmm. And I was in the movie The Wrestler. you'll see me as an extra. I'm wearing a white shirt. I wasn't a paid extra. I was just in the shot. Right. They used they were there to film while Ring of Honor was there in Dover, New Jersey.
Yeah,
it was like all night long. They had Ernest Miller, the cat, who was playing like his rival, and he came out, and every time they came out, and there was one like they couldn't use a shot, and the director said, "Hey, man, you can't stick I stuck the middle finger in his face, like oh, I'm sorry." So, or like, and the first. Yeah, it was like a great experience. And Mickey Rourke was cool. Like I got to slap his hand when he came out. But if you go back and watch the movie, you'll see me on the front going, "Hey," and I'm wearing a white shirt. I'm the only one wearing a bright white shirt sitting in the front.
I'm gonna rewatch it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Who was all right? So we know Brooke and Brawler was the shits. So who was your best interview, and who was your best wrestler that was shit?
If you go by interview, my favorite interview was King Kong Bundy.
Really?
King Kong Bundy.
I've seen it.
Yeah. What did you think? Honestly,
I like it.
Thank you. I mean, it was my proudest. Yeah. It was my proudest interview, and actually, that interview sold more DVDs than all my other DVDs combined. I had to reorder those DVDs. I had like sold them to other venues that they wanted to wholesale that DVD. That DVD did very well. I'm very thankful that I got to, and we were gonna even do a number 2. And that was the other thing I took pride in. King Kong Bundy had turned down everybody for a shoot interview, thousands and thousands of dollars, and then like I talked to him, and first he told me the same thing. No, what makes you think I'm gonna say yes to you? Then we just became friendly. I wouldn't say friends, but we became friendly later. Then he started telling me you could call me Chris. I called him Chris instead of Bundy.
Right.
We started just talking on the phone, and then he brought it up. He goes, "You know what, Andrew? Fuck it. Let's do the interview. When you want to do it?" And he's in Jersey, so I had my brother pick him up. He lived in Glassboro, outside after Atlantic City, like past exit 3A of like it's a good 2 hours plus. And he brought him. We did an interview in an empty ring for Mike Morgan's Ace Pro Wrestling. He let us use his arena. We used an empty arena backdrop.
Nice.
It was that's like, and he answered like, and he didn't know what question I was gonna ask him. He just said the same thing. Ask me whatever you want. And I would ask him something about WrestleMania 2, and he goes, "I like to talk about Randy Savage, that prick." Like this is before Randy died, and he's burying him, and he's burying everybody. And I won't say everybody, but Barry's Honky Tonk Man. That interview Honky Tonk Man years later, and I showed him the clip and Honky, and it's one of the biggest clips that we have on our YouTube channel on GoPro Wrestling. So Bundy was by far my favorite interview, and he was just a great guy. I remember even after the interview, I said, "Hey man, you want to go to eat at a sushi place? I want to take him to somewhere fancy." He said, "I want to just take me." There was a place called the White Manor with one N. There's actually a White Manor with 2 N's. They were on a reality show. One's in Hackensack, one's in Jersey City. The one in Jersey City is where it was by me. And he goes, "I used to pass by this place every day on my way to the Meadowlands, but I never went in there. And I'd like to go in there." So I felt honored. I was like, wow, all these times in the 80s, he was driving past this place called the White Manor on Tunnelly Avenue in Jersey City. He never went inside. And it says since 1946, it was a really old establishment. And it was just a place, it was like a dive, flipping burgers, eating fries. That's all he did. He ate like 4 or 5 burgers. He had some fries. And it was my father, myself, and him. And my dad and him got really chatty and get really close. They were talking about stuff that had nothing to do with wrestling. And then, and they shared like same political stuff. And they were like, Chris could talk. He was very, animated and talked about politics and, things like that.
He was very smart too.
Yeah, he was very smart. We were talking about even doing a podcast before he died. We was going to do like Bundy on bullshit. We were going to do a thing called. That's a good title. And I have the notes in my phone still. I still won't erase it. We were going to do I had episode 1.
What could have been?
What could have been from episode 1 to 52. I already had him all lined up. Everything. But it is what it is. But he was. And he didn't feel appreciated by WWE, like with the Hall of Fame and everything. And it's a shame that he's not in the Hall of Fame. And for somebody like who headlined WrestleMania 2, somebody who was the WrestleMania record breaker, like he beat ST Jones in 9 seconds, and that record lasted till how many WrestleManias? Like 33, 34 WrestleManias that record was.
Yeah.
It just he was in the Hall of Shame with the midgets when he when he beat up on the little beaver. Just he was in so many iconic, integral parts of WWE, and I felt that
people don't realize before WWE became WWE, there's all territory work. I remember seeing Hulk Hogan fight 3 midgets at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When he
I
was
remember seeing King Kong Bundy fighting like 4 midgets too. Like that was the thing. Little people now, you know.
Yeah, right. You're gonna get people bashing.
Politically correct.
Yeah,
but
I think
I remember that. I remember that, and
yeah,
a lot of that stuff doesn't happen now. Now, I know like everybody, that new guy's coming, Veer Mahan.
yeah.
He's been coming for 6 months.
Yeah.
But I like it because that's the type of stuff they used to do in the 80s. Fucking vignettes for like 3 months until he finally shows up. And
they did the same with Emelina. Remember Emma? And we turned to Emelina, and then she went back to Emma after that whole thing. And then Brodus Clay. They had him for months with vignettes.
Right.
They never did nothing with it. He came out, and it was like a change gimmick.
Then Emma didn't like that whole Emma Lima thing, so she quit, and they gave the Emma Lima thing to Lana.
To Lana. Yeah. You got it. You're on the ball there. Yeah.
I appreciate some little old school feel like what they're doing with Veer Mahan. I think he's probably gonna come out on WrestleMania, if not the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. That's when I think he's gonna come out. I was thinking that he's gonna come out for the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and win it.
Yeah.
But they keep saying he's coming to Raw. So I think it's going to be for the Monday night after WrestleMania.
They usually do. They usually introduce the new characters following the night after WrestleMania because they don't want to put too much at Mania. It's usually you start. It's almost like a new season begins when Mania ends. Then they start. They redo the draft. If you notice, they start changing guys, heel and babyface. They move them to Raw, move to SmackDown, and they basically reshuffle the deck. Is usually what happens.
What are your thoughts on the whole? I know it's been this week about the whole Pete Dunne. He is now Butch thing. Now, before you answer, I'm either or, because when I first seen him as Pete Dunne, the way he looked with the fur and all the long hair, and I'm like, Pete Dunne, that doesn't even match the way the character looks. But I got used to hearing him get called Pete Dunne. And now I see him as Butch, and I'm like, you know what? It works, because for me, because he's rolling with Sheamus. Sheamus got that look. And if you really look at it, brother, he looks like a 1920 UK guy named Butch. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It really does.
For me, it's like WWE version of the Peaky Blinders. I don't know if you've seen that show or not.
Yes.
But for me, that's what they're going towards.
Yeah.
You know, I'm embarrassed to say, but I haven't really watched a lot of the new. Like I've watched AEW, but I haven't watched all of the new things developing in WWE, and that's something that I get made fun of a lot from, Mike and Frank and O'Neill, my Go Pro Wrestling crew, because like they go, my God, you only know all the older stuff, you don't know anything of the new stuff. Like I was at a convention, I'm borrowing a pen, I'm borrowing the marker from like a current AEW star that I don't know who it was, and I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it to my friend. I'll be like, do you know who this is? They're like, bro, she's the champion on what's the matter with you? And I was like, oh, I was borrowing her marker and she got pissed. He goes like, I'm getting an autograph with Shane Douglas or Brutus Beefcake. I'm talking to them and I'm totally ignoring like a current because I don't know who they are. Like, and that's my ignorance. That's my, it's just what it is. But I try to watch a lot of the newer things that are happening. It's just like it doesn't click sometimes.
Is it your ignorance or is it the lack of?
I think we got technical difficulties.
Is it the
you guys could still hear me?
Yeah.
Is it the lack of promoting that AEW does for their up and coming stars? Did he freeze? Oh no! It's going so good.
Yeah.
It was going. So
still good. There?
Yes, we hear you, but you're a little frozen. But we still hear you. You keep talking. So my question was it lack of promoting their new stars that you don't know who they are? I think we lost him. We're gonna try to get him back here. We do apologize for that. We are in 1 hour and 5 minutes. These are these are usually 30-minute interviews, but Andrew is such a great guy right now. He's giving us so much insider information about the wrestling business, about the memorabilia collectible business, about
Absolutely.
interacting with wrestlers on a one-on-one basis. What do you got to say about that, Jeremiah? Why he's there he goes, he's back.
There you go.
Okay, I'm using my phone this time. It like shotted the how it looked. It froze. I don't know if it.
Right.
I'm glad we're back.
So
Okay.
my question to you was, is it, your lack of knowledge of the new wrestlers, or is it the lack of promoting the AEW doing? Because I'll tell you something. When AEW, before they became AEW, I was going to the pay-per-views, and I felt they had something special, something like ECW, where they didn't have to be on TV every week. ECW used to be on pay-per-view only once every 3 months, 4 months. And this is how they started, and they got popular, and then, it grew. I feel that AEW rushed it too much, because when I was there at those live events, like the CEO event and the hardcore match with John Moxley, and they brought the table in the with all of that, I felt like, wow, this is something so throwback. It's gonna be special. But then I feel that they sold out to TV too soon, too quick. What
I
are
agree
these guys' thoughts?
with the Friday night show. I agree. There's some aspects of what you said is very valid. But you got to understand also, is to be fair to them, they had to do what they had to do for the sponsorship and what they were getting paid from TNT. They probably wanted them with their sister show on TBS. So there was some things. I mean, they do still have the old school feel to it. I feel like I like AEW. I like WWE.
I like it all.
I like all of it. I love wrestling.
Yeah.
It's the fact that, like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I find myself still watching WWE Network on Peacock. I'm watching old stuff, and even my wife will go, "Why don't you watch something new? Watch the." And it's just like I try to get into it, and like
That's all I am.
they're talking, and I'm fast forwarding, and it's another promo, and it's something else, and it's just like it's not like how it used to be. First of all, you got 3 hours of Raw. That is way too much.
Yeah.
They are saturating television. There's no emphasis on house shows no more. It used to be the opposite. They used to use TV as a means to get you in the arenas. It was just a platform for you. That's why there were squash matches. They used to, like, they would book angles and tease you on television, but the big matches happened on the house shows. Then, like, once in a while, the Saturday night's main event, the pay-per-views, and the pay-per-views there was every couple months. It wasn't every month like it's now.
You're right about that, because when they back when we used to watch in the 80s, Hulk Hogan, if Hulk Hogan was on a Saturday morning show on Superstars, he's not wrestling a big guy, a big name. He's wrestling a squash, a jobber, just to get his name, just to beat out.
Go back and look. He never wrestled on Superstars or TV other than Ted DiBiase, Boris Zukov, and like I think a couple people ever. It was always he was put in positions for promos. He was put in positions like he was on the Brother Love show and he got attacked. It was just a way to hype up or it. But you never saw Hogan wrestle on television unless Saturday Night's Main Event, or he was always saved like it was like an attraction. Like if you wanted to watch Hulk Hogan or somebody like Andre the Giant, you needed to order the pay-per-view.
Right.
They've lost that now, because now everything it's like, okay, we got your money already. Fox is paying us 100-something million or whatever they're paying us. We have the net. We have everybody's money for the subscription service. It's a different time now. Wrestlers are still passionate. They want to be the best, but it's not how it was before. How Rock and Mankind and Austin, Rock, everybody strived to be the best.
Yeah.
And the only way for you to be the best, it was to, like at the time, really reach for that brass ring.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and if you didn't sell tickets or merchandise, you didn't make money. It wasn't like they got paid flat, like how they were paying guys in WCW, which is what ultimately put them out of business. Overpaying guys, paying them all these extra more money just to lure them from WWE, WWF at the time. It hurt. There was good things that happened during the Monday Night Wars, and then this is the flip side. This is what killed WCW and then killed ECW within a span of 2 months of each other, closing down in 2001, and then WWE monopolizing everything till Impact TNA came on board in 2004, 2000 or 2002, 2003, and then they changed their model. They went from a then now AEW. I think now's a great time with wrestling. AEW, the fact that they have a cable deal and they're almost like head to head, just like with NXT. It's getting better. The competition always makes things better. It keeps them on their toes.
Yeah.
Well, what was the fun part of how it was in the Monday Night Wars? Who's gonna jump? Who's gonna show up on Raw? Who's gonna show up on Nitro? With the spontaneity and the element of surprise and all these things, like it made it like now when you watch it, it's just like I used to record Raw and Nitro and be like passionate to watch. We used to have parties like when I was in college. Like we used to go to people's dorms or they used to come to my house. We used to go to. It used to be a party every week, and the remote we'd like, oh, get that back. We'd get back Nitro, watch Raw. It was so passionate to watch what was happening on Raw, what was happening on Nitro, what was happening. Like now, it's like okay, you have 3 years. When you have too much of something, it's not good. If they used to have one.
Do you think that let's say 10 years from now, AEW is still going to be around the way they're going right now?
It's a possibility. I mean, you got Tony Khan. He's really brilliant. Like, I mean, he's very passionate. He's a wrestling fan. He's not some like people like to call him a money mark. That's not true at all. The guy knows what he's doing. Yes, he has his father's money, but you're gonna fault the guy for that? I mean, my father's helped me. I've other if your father or your mother's helping you, why are you gonna fault people for that? He's making something into his own. He's developing something. He created a toy line. He created all these things that have been happening, and how fast it happened. It's unbelievable because news and everything, especially in this era, how everything is so fast paced and how everything is at our fingertips and we need everything now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's I think they'll be around. I hope that they're around because if they're around, it's going to give more opportunities to guys. It'll create more jobs. It'll create more work for a lot of wrestlers, and it'll just be another breeding ground for more talent. When we have more talent, you're going to have, and then another thing, element of surprise: guys from AEW going to WWE, WWE going to AEW.
Yeah.
It's actually a good thing. I know deep down, I know Vince McMahon, even at his age right now, is probably thrilled that they're having competition because it gets a little kickstart. You need that.
Yeah.
You own everything. Who's your competition? They try to build competition within themselves, Raw versus SmackDown. Who really believes that? There's some competition. They want to be better, make their show better, but you're under the same umbrella. You're under the same company. Like, who are you kidding?
So
when that new ECW didn't work, when they tried to bring back ECW, it was like a watered down version.
That was bad.
I could stay here all night talking wrestling with you. I love it.
Thank you.
But let me pick your brain. One more question.
Sure.
Cody Rhodes, where is he gonna end up at? Is he gonna make his own promotion? Is he going back to WWE? What do you think? And do you think it'd be good for wrestling if he goes back to WWE? What are your thoughts?
No, I'm actually disappointed that if he does go back to WWE, it's like, okay, they're gonna make him a hot commodity for a little bit, and then what?
Yeah.
He lost in the shuffle again. I mean, I interviewed him on my channel, and one of the things he said was he lost passion for He felt fans were feeling sorry for him when he was Stardust. It was called Stardust, right? When he was Stardust. He felt people were feeling sorry for him, and he wasn't garnering he was getting sympathy instead of getting like heat, and that's the reasons why he left. But then look what he did. He helped revolutionize like a movement. Like AEW came like you said in many ways like the new ECW, passionate fans and like a revolution, like us against them. He comes out in a pay-per-view, and the same night he signed my AEW. I have the poster signed by everybody, and I have a picture of Cody and Brandy in the after party with each of them with a drink in their hands, a candid picture. It's like a picture I would keep forever. Like it was, and he treated me great. They were great, nice people. He signed my stuff, and he signed the ticket stub from the first show. And I said, this is like history. This is like the first WrestleMania. And he goes, "Hey, I didn't think about that. That's actually pretty cool. You said that."
I think him going back to WWE is not necessarily a bad thing, because let's be honest, nobody's gonna stop the machine. The machine is too big. The machine is bigger than itself. They got the Saudi Arabia deal. It's like $10 million. Like, come on. And those are like old school throwback show. I want Undertaker. I want Goldberg. Those are for the old fans like you and me, Andrew. Not for Jeremiah. But I I think
I know my history though.
Yeah, you know your history. And but I think, they cater to a certain niche of fans, and it's in between the hardcore and the old school. And I was looking at a WCW Nitro throwback episode, and I'm like, I'm be honest, I'm a production whore. You need, we've been through the golden era, the attitude era, we've been through all that. So we want people our age, Andrew, we want to see something new and fresh, So that's why I was clinging to AW in the beginning before they went to TV. And then when they went to TV, they kind of lost this luster for me. But I just think like you can't stop the machine. So that's beyond control. Even Vince McMahon can't stop the machine no more. It's bigger than him, But
Cody going to would be a good thing.
But listen. Let me finish. Yeah, but Cody going back to WWE is like getting approval from a father figure, because everybody in WWE that leaves, WWE wants them to do it on their own, get big on their own, and then come back.
That's what happened with Drew McIntyre.
That's what happened with Drew McIntyre. That's what happened with Jinder Mahal. They left. They were like my size. They came back. They juiced up a little bit, hit the weights, whatever the fuck they did. They worked on their acting, and they came back. And WWE is people to say never. Everybody comes back. I don't think he will get lost in the shuffle if he comes back to WWE.
No.
I think he would get put where he deserves to be put, but where he thinks he doesn't deserve to be put, if that makes sense. He thinks he needs to be up there with Goldberg and fucking and Brock, like legends. But I don't think he's there. I think he's like a high caliber mid card. Sami Zayn. Who else? Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler for me is the ultimate French kiss seller. He sells the best for me. This is why he is now the NXT champion. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I love Dolph.
I would say.
What are your thoughts on everything that I just said? I know I was a little winded.
You're good. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
I would say the whole Cody Rhodes thing. The perfect debut for him has been up under our nose the whole time. I listened to a podcast and they brought it up that they're having a Dusty Rhodes Classic in NXT right now. So to have him come out and present the trophy be, in my eyes, a good way to debut him. And
I didn't think about that.
you brought up Dolph Ziggler. Well, Dolph Ziggler's an NXT champ right now. Starting a feud between them, get them going, get them back used to the environment and everything. That would be good.
They're friends.
Yeah. So I honestly I can see that being a thing, but I can see him coming out at WrestleMania in some capacity, somewhere or another.
That would be.
But I feel like
that's money.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what they're probably going to, because with WWE, whenever they have a rumored superstar return, a rumored superstar to return this time of year, it always happens at Mania. It'll start in December, then rumors rampant. This guy signed here, this guy signed there, and all that. Then WrestleMania comes around, then that's when a big shebang happens. Just like what the Hardys did, 2-3 years ago before they left again at WrestleMania. The whole roller coaster ride thing, and then they came out and got that huge pop. So I feel that's what they're trying to do with Cody. I don't think Cody has that fan base where they will mark out for them like they would anybody else. He has a fan base. I don't think he has that type of fan base where let's get this guy on TV right now. He's going to do this and do that. But in my eyes, I will debut in our WrestleMania or the Dusty Rhodes Classic. That's what Dusty Rhodes Classic is the perfect fit for him if he does do that. Have a feud with Dolph Ziggler.
You're right.
Yeah. Have him feud with Dolph Ziggler and everything, and he'll let it kick off from there. Now bring odds on NXT 2.0, who's not really. I feel like people watch NXT 2.0 with different set of eyes than the black and gold. It's what it's meant to be, a developmental. So that's my thoughts on it.
Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot with what Jeremiah said. I think what Cody was also missing, to bring up a point, like that fan base.
Yeah.
Like AJ Styles showing up at the Royal Rumble, right? Look at that.
I was there, brother. Yeah. I was there.
He never wrestled for WWE before, but everybody knew who he was. Cody's wrestled in WWE before.
Yeah.
Everybody knew who he is and what his is and the legacy. But AJ Styles never wrestled for WWE before, he got an amazing.
But it was like dark matches and squash matches.
Yeah, it was velocity. I think the rest of Christopher Daniels for signing on TNA.
Right, he wasn't part of their roster regularly, and he wasn't somebody. But
but
he came out, and everybody just splashed phenomenal on this Titan. Everybody knew who he was right away.
Yeah, exactly.
Cody will get over it because he's very smart and he is.
Yeah.
He carries himself with a lot of confidence. He has that aura about him that he's a successful and he should be big star. I just hope, look, like you said, the Machine. Is the Machine going to push him, or are they going to make a fool of him? Maybe they're going to bring him back, and then after a while, who knows? I hope that I'm wrong and that they make him successful. Because he's a great talent. I wish that they will do something with him. But if I was him, if I was in his shoes, and I'm not, but if I was, I would have never left. Because I feel like, being part of AEW, you were there. You were one of the founding fathers, but I don't know.
You know why he left, right? The rumor is that TK, Tony Khan, took away all of their fucking front office abilities, all of their vice president duties. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Cody Rhodes. He took away all of their vice president duties, meaning as a front office capacity, is what I heard and what I read up on. That like TK is gonna do all the booking, he's gonna do all the decisions. That he's not gonna. He took away their power, and that's what he's like. Fuck that shit. Like, I left WWE to be in control of something and to have my say in something, and now you took it away, and now I'm leaving. And that was a mistake. That was a mistake.
If Tony Khan is, I don't know Tony Khan, I don't know, but he's signing the checks.
Exactly.
He's the boss.
Right.
You need to have a guy at the forefront be the boss. And maybe that's something that they needed. Maybe they were butting heads on what was happening. But I honestly, and I'm never a fan of this, when Triple H was booking, he was wrestling. When Jeff Jarrett was booking, he was wrestling. You can't be impartial if you're a talent and you're booking for other people. Because obviously you're going to book yourself as the champion.
Everybody knows it.
or being in the vicinity of being a champion. You know what I mean? Like Nash breaking Goldberg's streak, let's say.
Yeah.
Finger poke
I mean,
yeah. And I think that's what made Dusty Rhodes so great as a promoter back in his day. You know, he booked us.
When he wasn't wrestling.
Yeah, he wasn't wrestling.
Stepped on so many toes. And I just think taking away their power, and I'm not in their front office, I don't know the ins and outs, but from watching from the glass, watching from the outside, it's actually a good thing that you have one boss that everybody answers to. Because look what happened in WCW. When inmates were running the asylum, like as they all said in all those documentaries and pieces, they said when all these guys they never had a clear-cut guy. Like the WWE, one guy was the head of it all, right?
Yeah.
He was the ultimate. Who was the ultimate say in WCW? They went after Eric Bischoff. They went through Bill Bush. They went through Vince Russo. They went through all these different guys that in control, and morale was horrible at WCW, and it just ultimately killed everything. Overspending, the ratings went bad. So I just think maybe AEW is not in that boat right now, but it could, in time, like you mentioned, where are they going to be in 10 years? Well, maybe Tony Khan sees it's his company, it's his money. Mm-hmm. He should be able to run it the way he wants. However, maybe having input from these guys and say, look, you guys could present me what you think, but at the end, I have the ultimate say.
Recently, Chavo Guerrero said a statement. He said WWE micromanages a little too much. AEW micromanages a little too less. And I kind of see it. Because some matches look spot festy. Like they don't have a direction to be like, hey, dude, don't do that shit. You don't have to do that shit.
Yeah. Selling, the spot fest, all that. The guy shouldn't have to take a package power driver and pop back up in 3 seconds. I don't like seeing that.
Dude, Andrew, it's been great. I know we're only scheduled for a 30-minute interview, but we're at 1 hour and 26 minutes. And I wanna thank you from the bottom of my heart. The 2KWE thanks you. You gave us an hour overtime. If people want to contact Andrew Khella, if people want to buy some of your merchandise, if people want to commission you to sell some of their merchandise, if people want to figure out what's going on new with WrestlePro and Pro Wrestling Magic and Game Changing Wrestling and what's going on with Go Pro Wrestling, how do they get in contact with you?
All on our social media platforms at Go Pro Wrestling. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We have our YouTube handles at Go Pro Wrestling. We have a lot of original content on there. We live stream for a lot of the shows. When I say we, I mean my excellent A+ production team that they always are out there. But thank you. And we did our first show, Go Big or Go Home, and I'll say it on your show. I'm hopeful that we're gonna do another show down the road. We did our first show. Killer Cross was the main event against Anthony Henry. We had Private Party. We had Nyla Rose.
Yes,
a lot of great guys. Jordan Grace. We had some great matches, and it was a hell of a night. And it was actually a couple days before these guys started in AEW. This was actually their last independent show, and Private Party was gracious enough through AEW's permission. AEW gave us the permission to have these guys wrestle on our show, which was a great show. And this was in September of 2019, and then COVID was in March, so we had to nix our plans. We had some plans. We were gonna we wanted to. Our goal is for me, my vision is I want to have big super indie shows like the way Game Changer is doing now, having great shows and incorporating, just they're doing a fabulous job the way they're doing. I wouldn't even want to have a show all the time. I want to just be able to throw a show once or twice a year maybe, and that's something that we're going to look into more as now with things getting lifted, more people going outside. So that'll be something fun. But Anybody else can contact me, and you could shoot me. Anybody can message me. Tell me what you did, Sam. Like, what do you think of this is worth? What do you think that's worth? I answer everybody's messages. If I don't answer it quickly, I will answer it at some point. I always reply to every single message I get, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on also my Auction Andrew group page on Facebook. You can go Auction Andrew. It's a public page. Anybody could join. We do our live auctions. We have fun, just like what we're doing here. I'll pull an item. A starting bid is $1, and we keep it. You know,
I
and
love
it's
your
just
auctions. I love your auction videos.
thank you. I read the comments at the bottom. It's funny and interactive. Sometimes people write funny things, and there's other bids, and there's things going on. And we've sold some big pieces. The biggest pieces was Owen Hart 2,500. Mr. Perfect was 2,000 autograph. And it was like those were like the record breakers. I sold a Vince McMahon autograph for 2,000, but it wasn't a regular
How
autograph.
did you even get a Vince McMahon autograph?
I've been hoarding and collecting stuff a long time.
Yeah.
I still have
everything.
Listen,
I'm being contact.
I appreciate your time. I appreciate your time. We could talk all night long, but listen, I'm gonna have you back here for another shoot interview.
I love it.
In the near future, and hey, at your next Go Pro Wrestling show, if you need an announcer, a commentator, Sam Schluter's throwing his hat in there for the running. I work for cheap.
I'll tell you what. I had Josh Chernoff, and so says Chernoff. He does the AEW. He's a good pal of mine, Josh, and he always has like different ties for every different show. And Joel Gertner, they did announcing for us. We have the full show on our YouTube channel. You can go back and watch from beginning to end. We had Richard Holiday, Brian Pillman. A lot of these guys are actually. I'm proud to say a lot of them are actually good friends of mine that I talk to regularly. I text with them. We talk on great people. Sean Donovan, Dan Moff, a lot of guys they wrestle regularly on Wrestle Pro and all over the independents. And I'd like to see like independent wrestling now. We haven't even touched on that, but we'll talk more about that next time. It's a whole nother thing.
Absolutely.
Things have been
exploding. I'm in Orlando, and Orlando, Florida has in the last 4 or 5 years has become a wrestling town. Thanks to NXT Black and Yellow and Black and Gold, excuse me. And now Orlando is a wrestling town. And I'm just glad I'm here for it. And I appreciate you taking out the time to talk with us today. And you went totally beyond the Call of Duty today for us. And I want to appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I know Jeremiah was just excited to be in the same conversation with you. You know, watch out. Don't invite him to your house because you might be missing some memorabilia. He always talking about, did you see what Andrew got now? You see what Andrew's selling now? You know, and that's the future right there. That's the future. That's who's going to end up with that poster back there, huh?
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you very much. From Sam Schluter, the Straight Shooter. That was Andrew Khellah, the owner of Go Pro Wrestling. And don't go nowhere, Andrew. We're still gonna talk once we go off live. Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next time on 2KWE The Shoot with Sam Schluter.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Where's mommy?